Good afternoon, everyone. Andre here. Going to talk to y'all a little bit about Module 4 and kind of tie in some of my own personal experiences with language learning. So the first thing, Tabor's One Child, Two Languages. The case study was lovely. The bilingual discourse that Byung-Kun was doing with the other students. This kind of frustration, he didn't understand, how to communicate himself, so he just started speaking the native language. That's what bilingual discourse is. Assuming that kind of everybody knows your native tongue, which is not true. And then sort of we saw the transference of him from that to, kind of experimenting with language, going through phonology to grammar, communication, which are all the stages kind of listed in the book. Phonology really stood out to me. Being somebody that grew up learning different languages, I used to always pay very close attention to the accent and the way things were said. And I think that ties in a lot with cognitive theory, which was on that little PDF that was in our module as well. Cognitive theory being the idea that language is an inherent ability, very similar to like cognitive abilities, like memory and things of that nature. I would even go so far as to say, and you can take this as a discussion topic, that language is in its own way a form of metacognition, like writing. Metacognition being thinking about thinking. So I truly believe that as you learn different languages, you're also learning different ways to think. And I'm going to support that argument by a personal example from my life. I remember being 13 years old in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is in the west side of Brazil, where they have very interesting accents. Very, very beautiful language, but the way they speak it in particular is lovely. And I remember trying to learn and not understanding how certain words could not be defined in English. And one of my favorite words, and one of the first ones I learned, was saudade. And what saudade means is literally in English, it can mean I miss you. But in that language, in that cognitive realm of thinking, it literally means you are missing from me. So the assumption is made that people are all connected to each other, kind of in a communal way, and without someone, you're missing a piece of something of yourself, which has a much deeper meaning than just saying, oh, I miss you in English. So it was kind of hard for me to understand, but then I realized that there's kind of this way of thinking that is attached to speaking Portuguese. I'll even go so far as to say that different languages are based in theories of knowledge and the way that you view yourself. There's even a village in the mountains of Northeast Asia, I don't know the name, I'm not going to look it up, where they speak a certain language that is all centered around a mountain. It's an indigenous tribe that lives in those mountains, and their entire language is based off of things relative to that mountain, not so much geographically, but even themselves, God, rain. It's kind of the crux of their existence. So their form of thinking is based upon said mountain. So that's why they speak the way that they do. So I really took a lot from that cognitive theory of learning. So going back to cognition, writing is also very much tied into cognition and the way that we think, the way we put ideas on paper. So if we're able to read something in a native language and really grasp it, I think that would be the ultimate form of understanding language. And I remember one of the first books I read in English, I have it right here. This is The Golden Arrow. This is a very old edition by Robert Louis Stevenson. I'm going to reveal my age if I tell you how old it is. It's a lovely book, but it's written in Middle English, and I suffered greatly trying to understand Middle English. There was no practical application. However, I would like to know what texts you guys think people should read if they want to learn English. Should they read difficult Middle English texts? Should they read things that are more relative? Should they read text messages? I mean, is Facebook a good way to read and learn languages? Yes, no, maybe. But authors in the classroom is kind of like that. The framework for that. What should we be revealing to students, and what should we be expecting of them, and what perspectives should we put forth for them to build their language learning education, so to speak. That's all I got for this week. I have to go feed this little girl over here. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care.